Welcome to the Sabrosa podcast, your underground hub.
Welcome back to another episode of the Sabrosa podcast. We have a very special episode today. We got LUNA13TH in the building. Say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm excited for today's episode because if you don't know who Luna is, well, you will after today, right? They gonna know what's up after today.
Yeah,
they gonna know. So first, I just want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
here.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself. So how's Jersey been for you so far?
Jersey is a lot like Baltimore. Actually, my friends have been asking me, like, how is it out there? I'm like, y'all, it's really like New York and Baltimore if they had a kid, to be honest. Yeah.
I've never been to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Scenery wise, like buildings, it looks aesthetically exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you before, y'all got the food on us. But when it comes to just structures, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up at though? Like what city?
So, without giving too much, I grew up in PG
What
County.
you want to tell us?
I grew up in PG County.
Okay.
So that's about maybe like 20 from Baltimore.
Okay.
So like really the difference in the DMV is just like language for real. So everybody in the DMV, when I start talking, they'll be like, oh yeah, she from PG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the DMV is like a different cities, and
So-
it's called the DMV.
DMV actually stands for DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Okay.
We just all like, we're a family for real. Like, I mean, niggas be acting like Virginia is the stepchild that don't nobody want to claim, but like, that's what it is for real.
I've been to Virginia once when I was a kid, and there was a huge snowstorm, and I did notice that they don't plow the streets.
I don't know about that. but-
Yo, they was not plowing the streets. Like, it was crazy. Like, to even get through the street,
That's crazy.
there was no salt on the road, and it was mass snow.
I mean,
That's all I remember, just not being able to get through.
Okay. I mean, I'm
And it'd
trying
be
to think
really
what
cold.
Virginia has. Virginia has like a good mall. And that's like, maybe that's why nobody reps them for real. Again, like, sorry, auntie. She lives in Virginia. She's from Virginia. I love you. But don't nobody rep Virginia for real, for real.
Well, that's good though. So you're from Baltimore, pretty much. You grew up in the DMV area. So how did you come about your career, like what you're going into music? How did you, how was your upbringing musically? Like, were you introduced to music as a child, or is that something that you grew into growing up? Like, what's your inspiration to start music?
So, you asked me like a whole bunch of things just now. As far
Giving you
as
some context.
inspiration, no, I just want to make sure I touch on everything that you just asked me. As far as upbringing, I grew up listening to a lot of Motown, actually. So, like, the Motown Christmas album is, like, my favorite CD to listen to for real, for real. So, I grew up listening to a lot of Michael Jackson. That's my dad's favorite artist. A lot of Stevie Wonder and stuff like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that's what I grew up listening to. As far as inspiration, I'm going to say the Holy Trinity, for real, which I consider Wayne, Drake, and Nicki. Those were...
Young Money.
I'm telling my age, for real. But, like,
It's
those were the founding fathers to me. So, like, as far as who inspired me to do music... I feel like nobody inspired me to do music. Niggas were going to do music, period. But, like, inspiration-wise, it was definitely those three. And I feel like you can hear it in my music, especially Drake, for real. So, yeah.
He's a hell of a, I mean, he's, like, very versatile. And you are very versatile. So we'll get into that. Because you just don't do R&B and soul, which is a lot of the music that you do have. You have pop.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you're going into this nameless genre with Grimdoza, which is the project that you're coming out with. So I do have a question about how did you, because I did hear your new project back home with Grimdoza. So how did you guys meet? How did that project come about?
So Grim had DM'd me. He had heard. So for people who don't know, just to explain, Back Home was a song before Grim had worked on it. and he really just fucked with me as an artist. Like, that was his favorite song. He was telling me niggas were like cleaning their house to this shit on repeat over and over, like telling his friends about it and stuff. And so out of the blue, he just made something and was like, he was just like, here, like, I made this. Yeah, which honestly was the, like, that was a very pivotal moment for me, actually, because one, you see a blue check, like, yeah, whatever, but to see that somebody fucked with my music so much that they were inspired to make something, that's like, yeah, that was very big, because that's what I do. Like, I want to do a cover to a song, whatever. That's me, like, showing homage or, like, showing, like, just how much love I have for that one particular piece. So the fact that he did that for me, that was amazing. But, yeah, that's how we met, him just falling in love with Back Home, which was like my second song that I dropped too. So it's like, that was honestly the biggest moment for me so far. Yeah.
Would you say that gave you motivation to make a project?
No, I fuck with Grim, but that didn't give me, I've always wanted to work on a project. It was more so just like, I know it was like really God, just like, it was a timing thing, divine timing for sure, because I always wanted to work on a project, but it was like, I didn't know what I wanted it to be, or like just how I wanted it to sound and stuff like that. So it was really just me saving that for when I was ready. If anything, that whole experience, it motivated me to like just be better, period, because it's like, okay, well, if I have Grim Doza looking at me, like, I have other people who will be looking at me too. So that's what that did for me.
That's good. That's like great to hear that you were excited when you received the message, and just that like that motivation, like you inspired him to make something. You know what I mean? And then that was the initial introduction to each other. So I think that's like raw, authentic, organic, and that's real. That's like no fake shit. So I think that's cool. So talk to me a little bit about like your music selection, like your sounds. So you have different sounds that you pick. So how is that, like, how do you decide?
You mean like the beat or what I do on it?
Both.
Oh, okay.
So how do you decide what sound you're gonna go with, and then what is your process to create? Like, do you lock yourself in the stew by yourself? Do you have to write? Do you not write anything down? Do you write on a piece of paper? Do you write on your phone? Like, what's your process like?
As far as, to answer your first question, as far as the beat, I treat like beats like my food. It's like, if I take a bite and I don't like that shit, I don't finish. It's the same with the beats. If it's like I can't fuck with it the first couple of minutes, like I just don't mess with it. So the beat selection really isn't that crazy. It's just like I have to fuck with it, to be honest. It could be any genre of beat. As far as my process when it comes to recording, it really depends on my environment, for real. If I feel like I have the time to write, I'll try to write. And it also feels like whatever sort of mood I'm in too, because I usually tend to be in a perfectionist mood, and sometimes writing is too much. So like I'll spit, like I'll punch in basically. So it's, when I'm at home, it's usually a lot of me punching in, but like for very specific things like this project, 13 with Grim, I'm doing a lot of writing. So it really just depends on what I'm trying to do, for real.
That's cool. So it just depends on like what vibe you're going with for that song. Depends.
Basically, not even just for the song, but just like me internally, because I know, like like I said, I have a perfectionist problem. So I notice if I'm doing that perfectionist shit, I will make myself put down the pen and punch in, like, just because I try to balance myself as an artist, not to do too much of one, because I feel like when you do that perfectionist shit too much, it takes the fun out of my creativity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
When it feels like work, it's not gonna feel the same, right?
Yeah.
And like, I do want to talk about that for a little bit, because I feel as artists, you guys have a lot of pressure when it comes to dropping, creating, writing, marketing yourself. There's a lot of jobs that you have to do in one. So how do you balance that? How do you balance, you know, the artistry, but then like having you know, to push yourself to do things maybe sometimes?
That's actually something I'm mastering right now, just because it's funny, I had came into music treating it like a hobby, and then once I realized I wanted it to be a career, I kind of had to move differently and act like it was a career.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I can't even really answer that question because it's something that I'm currently dealing with.
Doing it. Yeah. That's good though, because it means that it's something that you recognize and you're working on it, and you're developing into who you're gonna become. So that's good. So you're working on it. So that's pretty cool. You do have you have a song named Hasta La Vista, and you have a song Hold Me Closer. There's different sounds in these songs, and what you're the way you're singing is different. Is this do you want to experiment more with pop, or do you like pop or R&B better?
So first of all, shout out Hayes. He's who produced Hasta La Vista. That's one of my favorite songs, for real. Again, it's more so like I just go based off of the beats that I fuck with, for real. Like, he had just happened to send that to me, and then like a poppy ass cadence and lyrics just came out of that. To answer your question, I do see myself doing pop in the future, for real. I enjoy pop, and then again, like, I feel like it shows versatility and stuff like that, like you had said before. So yeah, I did. That was your question, right? If I'm okay. Do
you want to do something else besides music? Like, would you act, or I don't know, maybe voiceovers or different like creative things? Is there anything else you want to do?
I mean, I see myself doing modeling. I see myself also doing voice acting as well. Acting, I'm not sure. Voice acting for sure though. Voice acting. Yeah, I want to do like cartoons or
That'd be cool.
like that.
Yeah. Cartoons are always cool. Let's get into your name a little bit.
Okay.
So LUNA13TH. Any specific reason why 13th?
Well, I'm gonna go into what 13 means. First of all, 13, like, I was born on the 13th, so it was just like, okay, Luna the 13th, whatever. But then once I started getting into like numerology and stuff like that, and understanding what 13 actually means, it represents change, transformation, just rebirth, period. And I feel like that's been, like, I feel like that's me. Like, I've been going through just a process of just self-improvement all throughout my life. So once I had figured that out, I really accepted the number and just like, okay, Luna13th is my name. Because at first I was just going to have it to be Luna. Even after I did Luna13th, I was like, maybe I should do Luna. But like, that's where Luna13th comes from. The whole Luna thing, I feel like it's funny because I thought of you asking this question before. I was like, I know she's going to ask me about my name. So I thought about it, and I was like, really what it is for a while, I feel like I pretended to be the sun for a long time. And when I say that, I mean, like, me personally, I'm very calm, cool, and collected. I come from a family of Jamaicans, which is the exact opposite. Nobody is calm, cool, and collected. Everybody is very loud. And so I feel like my family, they kind of thought something was wrong with me. Like, they were like, why are you frowning all the time? Which I wasn't frowning. I have a resting bitch face. But it's like, why aren't you like,
I can relate to that. Like,
yeah, so I became
like,
very,
we just be chilling.
Yeah,
right.
I became very, but it wasn't me. And so I actually had a whole name before Luna13th. I'm not going to say what it was because it doesn't matter anymore. Exactly. I'm Luna now. But it's like, I recognize that's what it was. When I picked my name, I didn't even do it on purpose, but it was a more fitting name for me. Because the one thing I will say, the name that I picked before, it was actually like similar to Ra, which is the sun god. So it's like it's funny how God just be doing things you don't even know, but like so yeah, I definitely understood that like it was really just a me becoming myself sort of thing. So yeah, that's where Luna comes from.
Yeah, I feel like when I speak to you, and like the more I speak to you, the more I feel like you're a very like deep person. You're not just like your average.
Thank you.
I feel like you're a deep person, and you look. I feel like the vibe that I get is you're a deep thinker, and like you're very in tune with yourself, right?
I know myself.
So knowing that and being like that, I feel like creating takes a lot out of you. Would you say that? Would you say like you pour a lot of yourself into creating?
Yeah.
And it could be draining, right? Could it be draining?
Not draining. Weirdly enough, words have been. I always knew that words was how I dealt with things, like just like trauma or just expression. I mean, everybody deals with words, but I mean, not everybody, because I guess some niggas like use it through instruments and stuff like that. But just like music was the medium I chose to express myself, basically.
Yeah, because I feel like in your songs, right? Like my interpretation of your song, "Cause I'm Sexy," right? To me, is like I don't know. I just feel like that song was, to me, it was empowering. It was like, you know, I can do whatever I want to do because, you know, you doing whatever you want to do. So then like I'm gonna just do my thing and don't be mad when I pull a you on you type shit. Like that was my interpretation of it. I feel like to me it was an empowering song, but I feel like in order to create these kind of songs, I feel like it comes through experience. Would you say that?
Yeah. I will say, just because I know when niggas listen to this song, they're going to be like, she didn't pay homage. So, Sexy is actually, because I'm all for paying homage, Sexy is actually, there's this nigga, Joe Ville, I think he's from Florida. He actually, this song blew up on TikTok for real. Yeah, it was like, you can do anything you want because you sexy. I was like, you know what? You exactly right. I can do anything I want because I'm sexy. So I kind of changed the perspective from a nigga telling a woman to like a woman herself expressing that shit. So that's where it had came from. I did turn it to a women empowerment song, period, because that's not what it was. It was just a song for, I mean, I'm not going to say what he wrote it for. I have no idea. But that is what I wrote it for, definitely.
That's how I interpreted it, like an empowering song. And I feel like that's good because nowadays you don't have a lot of women writing empowering songs. It's more like depowering songs.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you know, go take his money, pop some pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What is empowering about that?
Right. Like if we're really gonna get into it, let's get like what is really, there's nothing empowering about taking somebody's money and, you know, like shitting on someone. Like, at the end of the day, that man, whoever it is a person. So it's like, so to hear that, like you telling women like do your thing, you could do what you want to do, like you have the power. I just feel like because you're sexy, because a lot of us don't feel like that. So thank you for that.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, because I think that's like, I want to give you your flowers about that, because not a lot of women take the time out to write something like empowering for another woman. They just, you know, they just doing whatever's trendy. So when people don't follow that, I think that's dope.
Thank you.
You have an upcoming project called 13. Tell us a little bit about, can you tell us a little bit about it? What can you tell us about it? And I do have some questions. What is the concept behind the album?
So long story short, 13, again, explaining what the number 13 means before. 13 is a audible representation of my change in perspective of just multiple aspects of life. My change in perspective of relationships, money, love, God, myself. So that's what it is. I don't know if,
that's great.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
that's a great concept. So it's like a self-reflection.
Yeah.
Right? That's a good way to put it.
Basically, yeah, it's just basically, it's like you know, summer comes, niggas tell you, oh, do a research report, da da da. This is my report on the past, I'm 23, the past 23 years of my life, basically. Like, that's what it is. Like, because I thought I knew some shit, and niggas always think they know some shit when they're teenagers. But now it's like, okay, like, this is what shit is. And then what I see now, it might not even be what shit is, but it's like what it is now, if that makes sense.
It does make sense because in life, we always think we know some shit, and then life makes other plans and laughs at us. So it's just like this album, what my interpretation is just you reflecting on, you know, your journey up until this point.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have any features on it? That we can know about?
Grimdoza is featured on it. That's the only feature on it right now. That's the only feature I plan to have on it, actually. It's me and Grim's project together. I'm most of the vocals on it, but I don't see myself having anybody else on there. So if there is anybody else on there in the future, I'm not lying now, but it's just like in this current moment, I just don't see, because it's my first project too, I don't see myself giving that away. Like, this is something very, very special to me. So it's going to be just me and Grim.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like a near and dear to your heart. So you want it to be a masterpiece.
Yeah. And then also this is kind of like my first thing to give out into the music industry. So I kind of want it to be mostly me, because it's like this is my first presentation I'm giving to niggas. Like, I don't want them to hear too much of everybody else. Like, I really want it to sound like me as much as I can make it.
Yeah.
So,
would you say that this is like an intimate album to you?
Yeah, definitely. Not even just because it's my first, but it's 13. Like, I'm LUNA13TH. So yeah, it's very, very special to me.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, can you tell us around maybe when we should be anticipating it?
The end of this year.
Okay, so before the year ends, y'all already know.
Before the year ends, yes.
Okay, ending the year with a bang, closing the year with a new album.
Yeah.
Are there any plans? Like, do you now? I know that you're working on this album, but I know that as an artist, you work on multiple things at a time. Are there any plans for another album following it?
Yeah, there are. I be a little hesitant. Again, Jamaican, superstitious to a certain extent. I don't really like putting my plans out too much just because of other people's energies on it.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, of course, there's going to be a project next. As far as when, I can't really disclose that. But, like, there's going to be more, definitely.
Are there any collaborations that you would want to work with? Like, anyone in specific that you would want to work with? If they were watching this?
Brent Fayez. He's actually from the DMV. So, and also, like, just our music, it's crazy. I kind of know I'm going to work with him. I don't know if this is me manifesting or if he's watching right now. But
Brent Fayez.
But that's who I want to work with, for real, Brent.
You like his music?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know that I recently watched an interview when he said that he wasn't going to make that music anymore?
What do you mean?
Because
like toxic music?
Yeah. Would you consider his music toxic? I don't think so.
I only said toxic because I feel like that's what everybody else. I feel like you knew what I meant. When I know what you meant. Yeah, so that's why I called it toxic. Do I think it's toxic? From my perspective of a woman who's been through toxic relationships, yes, I do.
It is a little bit, but not that much, but a little bit. Because why? Why do you feel like that?
Well, it just depends on what song we're talking about,
right.
for real. But, like, I only see it as toxic just because, like, in some of the projects, it seems like he understands how much of an impact he has on women, and he speaks through his music. But it's still like, yeah, but I'm gonna do this shit again, though. Like,
and it's kind of like, I'm sorry, but you're just gonna deal with it.
Yeah, but then it's like, you think it's toxic, but like majority of his fan base is women, so it's just like these same people are saying it's toxic are his main supporters. So it's like I can't even really listen to what everybody else is saying for real, because it's like obviously you don't completely feel some type of way about it because you're still making the nigga like bread for real. So yeah.
Exactly.
But
And
why
then
did he say that? That he
I feel that he feels that
like typecasted?
like the context that he added, it wasn't like the full interview. I just saw like a clip of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the context that he added was that he's just tired of hearing women like give him like backlash for like the type of music he makes, like
Okay.
almost like justifying like fuckboy behavior.
Hmm.
But I mean that is the state of like what is like you do R&B and soul, and I feel like you're gonna get deep into music, like, and love is something that's universal to everyone. So I mean, what do you
Yeah.
really think about the state of relationships now? Like the state of how
I
relationships are today.
mean,
I feel like his music in a way
I've only been in this period of time, so I can't speak of how relationships were like in the past. But like, I am aware of how impressionable people are with music. Like, just what we were talking about before, like bitches thinking like, oh, like when they hear "fuck niggas get money," like, oh, I'm a fucking nigga and get his money. Like, I'm aware of
exactly.
that. So when it comes to music, I don't feel like all the love songs are kind of like toxic for sure, which I'm trying to bring real love music back. I'm glad that you said that. That's what you're gonna. That's what I will say about 13. You will hear that there's a song specifically dealing with that, but yeah, I feel like as far as relationships, it's always been how it is now, because I feel like we've had artists like Brent Faiyaz, like I can't name them because of
Just
course
be remade, basically, like
yeah.
recreated. But I mean, I just feel like he's just being real. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just what it is. It's just what people don't talk about, the taboo
Yeah.
conversations, right? But
Yeah.
this is what people want to hear because this is the dirt that people do in real life.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like as a singer, like, do you have like a responsibility to sing about your personal
No.
situations?
I don't feel like I have. I mean, this is debatable. Again, this is how I feel right now. Of course, 13 girl, shit's going to change at some point. But I had listened to a lot of artists, and I forgot who said specifically, but she was like, I think it was Trina, for real, for real. She was like, my responsibility is not to be a role model. Like, and I feel the same way to a certain degree. Because, like I said, this is how I express myself, period. So, I mean, I don't think anybody should be looking to anybody. Look to yourself, real. Be inspired by me, sure. But, like, even I do wrong. So, it's just like.
And you're also human, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're an artist and you have like a certain spotlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys, there's a certain responsibility that you have, right? But like you said, I feel like it's not like, I feel the same way. Like, just because someone sees you as a role model, that's not your fault that they see you as a role model.
Mm-hmm. Influence, I think, sure. Responsibility, we going to debate about that. I don't know if niggas have responsibility. Influence, for sure. I think it is an artist's choice whether they want to do something with that influence, or take it seriously. But responsibility, no, I don't think so. That's like saying LeBron James has a responsibility to just make sure every basketball player is working their hardest and all that other stuff. Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, I don't know. It's debatable, for real. I don't know.
Because I feel like sometimes, like, we live in a day and age now where people go viral, like, for
Yeah.
no. So it's like,
But
what
it's
if
like,
you?
is it the artist's fault that they're going viral though? Like,
It's not.
yeah.
But then sometimes things get done to go viral. So it's like we don't know what we're looking
True.
at all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
That's very
things go
true.
viral to promote something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Agendas, yeah, you're right.
some people know how to play the game. Some people don't know how to play the game. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about like music politics?
What do you mean specifically?
How do you feel about like, do you think there's gatekeeping? Do you think like gatekeeping exists?
Of course,
the
yeah.
industry?
I mean, there's gatekeeping just in not normal people lives, but like there's gatekeeping everywhere. I do think that there's gatekeeping in music. Are you asking like how do I feel about
Yeah, how you
gatekeeping?
feel about it?
I think it's very unfortunate for real. Anytime somebody, I've already encountered gatekeeping, which is crazy. But when I see someone gatekeeping, because I naturally just give information, period. Like, if I feel like it'll benefit you. So that just tells me it stems from a level of insecurity. Because, like, you could give a nigga, several niggas, a pen and a paper, like, but that doesn't mean everybody's gonna draw the exact same picture. Like, and if you're afraid that a nigga's picture is gonna look like yours, then you're just like not that good, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I do think it's unfortunate because I think gatekeeping also stops people from working with other people too.
It does hinder artists, and it's like sometimes it's like an unspoken hinder too, because it's like they don't even speak directly. It's just like someone blocking it. I really hope I feel like that's one of the wonders of being independent though, right? Like they're like you kind of like building your own career. You don't really need the industry per se. You could build your own platform. You know, as an independent artist, you can make your own merch. You can like create your own fan base. You can make your own tour. Like, is that something that we'll be expecting from Luna? Some shows.
Yes, some shows are. I mean, I right now currently I'm thinking of one show coming up. It's may or may not be in Tokyo.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's the only
dope.
show I can think of. I'm not going to say I'm not a performance person, but that's not really like a priority of mine right now. I am just finding out now that that's how niggas get paid. So like that's going to change.
You definitely want to work on like a little tour, maybe like because I feel like your visuals are really cool. So I feel like you'll be your set. I think it would be dope, like intimate, and I think it would be like a cool thing for you to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go too. I'll pull up. We'll pull up over here. We tapped in. So let's get into yourself. Thinking about like your 23 years, you know, getting into your own, self-reflecting. If there's any advice that you can give to your younger self, what would it be?
Any advice I could give to my younger self? So I be thinking, you were right, I am a deep thinker. I be thinking deeply about a lot of things. I mean, I'm just gonna go with the first thing that was on the top of my head for real. Don't change anything. Like, don't change a damn thing. Be patient. Like, I feel like I was rushing to do a lot of things for real. So just be patient. You always knew you were going, you know, accomplish certain things. Like, just live. Just live. Enjoy being where you are at the present moment, because like you only have that moment for that moment. That was very deep, and I didn't even mean it.
That was deep. That was good though. Because it's true. It's just like you only have it like one time.
I'm saying, yeah.
I feel like you're this deep of a thinker. Do you believe in reincarnation? I know it's a random question.
I don't know.
Do you think it's real?
I have no idea. To a certain extent.
Yeah.
That's something I'm still exploring, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I think I feel the same way. Yeah. I don't not believe in it, but and I do know that there are other things in the universe that may not make sense that do exist, right? But I do have questions, so I'm on the fence about it. I don't know, you know.
It's like, to be a deep thinker too. Like, you're just so open minded. So it's like I can't make anything definite. So it's so it's like I'm open to reincarnation. Can I say for sure reincarnation? Like, that's what we all experience. I have no idea.
Would you consider yourself clairvoyant?
Describe clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant is like being like an empath, pretty much, like feeling other people's and absorbing others' energies, being spiritual in a sense, you know, not you know, kind of like feeling things before, not really like psychic, but like kind of like feeling
Empath for sure.
things
Yeah.
you can't really explain that you just like, oh, I knew it. Like that's kind of being clairvoyant. It's like,
Clairvoyant, I'm not sure. Empath for sure. I think my first cases of that was actually through music, like feeling people through their music. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
like getting goosebumps, right? When someone's like, when you hear something,
yeah.
or
I mean, just feeling like the sadness, feeling the anger, feeling the happiness. Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I feel like that too sometimes,
Yeah.
and I feel like you listen to music differently when you're like that too.
What do you mean?
Like when you're an empath, I feel like, do you ever put yourself, when you listen to music, do you ever put yourself in a moment in time, like when you heard that same song before?
Yeah, that's actually why I have to. I can't listen to certain songs. I'm not gonna hold you, because like certain songs will play, and I'll remember like, oh, niggas were depressed during that time, and I won't be able to listen to
I
it.
feel you.
Is
They're
that what
like
you
change
meant?
it, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like change it because they're like, I heard this
Yeah.
song when this time happened. I feel like that's what music does for some of us.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a healing agent. And then also it's like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's everything.
Yeah.
Everything is everything. Would you sign to a major label if given the opportunity, or would you stay independent?
For real, as an artist, I'm still exploring. Like, I honestly can't answer that question because I have to actually. I'm glad you asked me that because now I know this is something I actually have to do. I don't know all the benefits there are of being independent and all the benefits there are with signing because I know there's like benefits to both. It's just like, what do you as an individual
Want to
like,
do?
yeah, or what's a better opportunity for you for real? Because I feel like some people are independent because they have the luxury to be independent. So, and then vice versa. So I really have to do my research.
And there's a lot of different things that you can do because you don't have to get like necessarily like a record deal. You can get like what's called a distribution deal. So they would just kind of like spread out your music. Do
they have control of my music though?
They just not really. They don't
just
have any royalties to your
period.
music. They just help you distribute it, and they get a certain percentage, whatever you may agree on, whatever you guys come to agreement on. So that's not that bad. So there's different things that you can do.
Do they control when things are released and stuff like that?
That's something that would be in your contract. So that's something that you would have to go with a lawyer, and that's what we're talking about in the business, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot for you. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, okay, I might have to talk to you after this about that. Yeah, that's something I'm still. Again, I mean, I didn't even know that. I mean, because that's coming up soon, obviously, for me. So, yeah, I'm going to have to just think about that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's something to think about, and it's something because, there might be people that want to work with you, and these are things that they're going to want to ask you, you don't know, and then you're going to want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you good. Like, you got this. It don't matter.
I'm still kind of in hobby mode. Like, not hobby mode, but it's just like, sometimes the whole business thing is just like, oh yeah, like there's that. Like sometimes niggas really just want to make music and that just be it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, without all the suit and ties and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I do want to make money, so it's like that has to come into play.
Because the business and the creative has to come together at some point.
At some point, if you want it to be your career, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But how is that? How do you balance that, like your work-life balance?
Currently there is no balance, Sabrosa. There's no balance, which it's really hard to balance. I mean, there's power in words, so it's not hard. I'm dealing with that right now, but it's just like when you make music, of course, when it's how you express yourself too, there's my biggest conflict is how much do I want to share with the world, basically. So that's where, to answer your question, that's where my dilemma is.
And especially in the day and age that we are, like privacy is like everything now, because everything is just out there. So it's like,
yeah,
you want to keep some things to yourself. Is that?
But I will say most of it's out there because people put it out there.
Yeah,
like, because it's a trend to give your life to social media. So, and just live like vicariously through others. So it's just like, I get it. But also, I don't want to be selfish either, because there's been a lot of things that I have made that have come from a very personal place that have healed other people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that conflict also comes from too, because it's just like, do I want to be selfish with this, even though I know like I'm not the only one feeling this way?
Mm-hmm.
There are like thousands of other people. So yeah,
because I always say that too. I feel like the best way for us to learn is from each other, from our perspectives. Like, it's like the best way is through the human experience. Like, you don't learn better than from somebody that went through said situation. Like,
the human experience. Are you spiritual?
Yeah. I want to say so.
No, yeah, I pay attention to how people talk. Yeah, so you view this as you having a human experience then?
Yeah, I like to connect with people. I feel like everyone has a story to be told, and like everyone has like their own journeys. And I feel like, you know, talking just like us, like sitting here and getting to know one another is just like me and us getting like an insight of your experience and like your lens. And I feel like that's really important because especially in these spaces where you guys are artists, I feel like it's really hard. It's oversaturated with so many different artists that we would like I'll say that are not really artists. They're just doing this shit because it's cool. You feel me? So when I come across like people that are talented and stuff, like I feel like it's worth like having the conversation, and it's worth because it might inspire somebody, you know, that like is scared and like has all their music in their computer and they might not make it nowhere. You feel me?
Yeah, drop that shit now.
Drop that shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, and I kind of said that for myself too, but yeah, drop it now.
Yeah. It's like, is there any advice that you want to tell anyone that wants to start making music?
My advice would be, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. That's the most important part, is investing in yourself. Not because nobody will take you seriously until you take yourself seriously. So really don't complain about, oh, my numbers, da 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 da. Like, nigga, you still have a home studio. You haven't paid for like real stew time or like an actual
invest in yourself too, right?
Yeah,
that's an important one.
That's the bottom line. Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself. You know the vibes. All right, so I just want to thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
It was so nice to meet you guys. And guys, we went to go have a nice lomo salteado in a Peruvian spot.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Like, you're such a great person. This is not going to be the last time we see one another. I'm tapped in. I'm going to the shows. I'm listening to the album. I'm sharing it. All that. We outside. Do you want to let the listeners know where they can follow you?
So you can follow me on any platform at LUNA13TH, spelled out just like that, not 1-3, LUNA13TH, all the way spelled out. But yeah, those are my handles. Listen to my music, stream my music, of course, and yeah, let me know what you think.
Guys, you already know that's not the last that you're gonna hear of LUNA13TH. Make sure you watch out for that upcoming album 13. You already know what time it is with Big Grim Doza, NJ Gremlins. Hey, before we go, are you an NJ Gremlin?
If you ask Doza, I'm an honorary gremlin, okay? If you don't believe me, ask Doza. But yes.
Guys, please tap in with LUNA13TH. You already know what time it is. Thank you. Another episode of the Sabrosa podcast. I appreciate y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all for staying here with us, tapping in with us. We fucking here. You already know what time it is, yo. Peace.